This is the Itel A50 and it is the most affordable 4G phone in the market right now. This phone should not be mistaken with the Itel A70 even though they share a lot of similarities. Now I've been using this phone for a couple of days now and here is everything you need to know about the Itel A50. Now Itel is always generous enough to always include all the needed accessories in the box, even with their most affordable phones. You get the phone, this black TPU case that I like because of this MagSafe-like design at the back. You also get an earpiece in the box, a SIM ejector tool, and that's just about it in the box of the Itel A50. Now for the price, it costs only 87,000 naira and you can hardly find anything more affordable in the market. The only phone that is close to this phone has to be the Redmi A3X, which costs around 97,000 naira. The Itel A50 has a matte plastic finish at the back and I love the design because it's not prone to fingerprint stains and smudges. There are two cameras at the back of this phone and a third ring housing the flashlight. It has a boxy design with curved edges and the phone isn't bulky in the hand. It has side-mounted fingerprint scanner and it is very fast to unlock the phone. You also get a headphone port and a USB-C charging port at the bottom, accompanied by the down-firing speaker. We only have a single down-firing speaker on this phone and it sounds okay for the price. Now, the phone supports 2 SIM cards and you also get a slot for a memory card on the phone. The phone has a sturdy build and it feels great in the hand. There isn't any creaking or flexing on the phone and the case it comes with also gives it some fancy. The Itel A70 has a 6.6-inch IPS LCD display with a 720p resolution and the standard 60Hz refresh rate. I'm going to say it's a colorful display for the price, and watching movies or streaming YouTube videos on this phone is quite clear and sharp. I love the size of the display at 6.6 inch. It's not too big and at the same time it's not too small. I find it easy to navigate this phone with one hand because my palms are quite big, so navigating this phone with one hand is not something I find difficult. You can also enjoy playing games on this display, and outdoors it maxes out at around 500 nits and you need to use the brightness slider if you want to get the most brightness out of this phone, or you can just set it to auto so that when you are outside you get the maximum brightness. If not, if you keep it at low and you go outdoors, it might be difficult for you to see the display. There are also some bits of customizations that you can do in the display settings of this phone, like enabling full screen for all apps if you want to hide the cutout on the display. We have a notch on the display housing the camera and the bezels around the display are quite noticeable. Now for this price, I can't say much because it should be expected. It's not like a phone that is very expensive and they didn't do well with the design. It's an affordable phone, and to keep the price low, I feel they had to kind of keep the display this way. My only wish is that Itel should have added at least 90Hz refresh rate on this display so that when we are scrolling we see it faster, but I feel for the price you can't really ask for much. Now, one area that I'm really impressed with has to be the software of this phone. The Itel A50 is running on Android 14 and Itel OS 14 is the user interface. I love the effort that they put with the icons on the interface, even though it's Go Edition Android. Scrolling through the interface also feels a bit fast. Now the phone has 3 gigs RAM with 64 or 128 gigs of storage space, and you can expand the RAM in the settings to 7 gig RAM using memory fusion. You also get the dynamic bar that adds a bit of swag to the notch. You don't get this level of customization on most of the phones that are running on Go Edition Android, but we have it on the Itel A50. Now of course the phone comes with some pre-installed apps, but I won't say there are many apps, and you can even remove some of them if you don't want them. There are also no ads on the interface, which is impressive as well for a phone that costs below 100,000. Itel has found a way to make this phone as fluid and functional as possible. They didn't do anything over the top, they just did okay with the software to keep the phone performing. There is also a screen recorder in the drop down menu of this phone, which is something you might not find on phones around its price. The phone is powered by the Unisoc T603 and it's an entry-level chipset and it's suitable for casual usage. I'm not going to say it's a fast phone, but I like how it opens up when compared to other devices that have the same chipset. Now it is not a gaming phone, but you can download PUBG and Call of Duty Mobile on the phone. But you need to know that the gaming performance is not going to be impressive. It's going to lag and you can't even play the games at the best possible frame rate. You can as well install games like Subway Surfer and Candy Crush, and they are going to run effectively on this phone. One thing that I will also encourage you to do if you intend to get this phone is to install light version of apps if you want like a faster experience. Like Facebook Lite, Instagram Lite, TikTok Lite are going to run much faster on this phone because they are well optimized for this type of phones. For performance, I would say it's okay for the price. Keep your expectations low because it's not a phone for someone who is heavy in terms of performance. I partnered with the Itel photographer to bring you these amazing pictures shot on the Itel A50. You need to check him out. He's someone who uses Itel phones to snap images mostly and post them on Twitter. I'll leave the link to his Twitter account in the description of this video. You need a lot of light to get the best out of the camera on this phone, and even though the phone is not a camera centric phone, I love how the images turned out to be because he snaps better picture than me, and that's why I give him the phone to help me get some images. Colors are okay, and you can see some sharpness in the pictures. Now, of course, the phone struggles with HDR, which is something I expected, but if you are in a well-lit environment and you keep your hand as stable as possible, you can get good pictures from this phone. The selfie camera is 5 megapixel, and I'm going to say that I'm impressed for the price. Now, this isn't a camera centric phone. I have to say it again. You shouldn't really go out there buying this phone thinking you're going to get the best camera experience, and if camera is your thing and you still don't want to spend a lot of money, I feel the Itel A70 is the right phone to buy. You can watch that video. I'm going to leave it somewhere here or here. The phone has a 5000 mAh battery and it supports 10 watts charging. Charging this phone from 0 to 100 takes slightly over 2 hours, and the battery life is one of the most impressive features of this phone. On standby, you can get up to 3 or 4 days of battery life if you don't connect it to the internet and you just use it for calls and maybe replying to text messages without putting on the internet, of course. But if you want to use it completely with the internet on, you are going to get a complete day of battery life on this phone. The only issue might be fast charging. Maybe a faster charging would have been better, but at the same time, for the price again of 87,000 naira, you wouldn't expect much. 10 watts is what you get, and you can leave the phone to charge overnight while you are sleeping. There you have it. The Itel A50 is a good option if you're on a budget and you want something decent. It can also be a good option as a second phone if you want something that won't break the bank, but you still need a second phone. The specs and features are well balanced for an entry-level phone, and my only wish is that 90Hz refresh rate on this display. What else do you want to know about the Itel A50? Let me know in the comment section of this video, and I'm going to see you in my next video.